So is anyone else like me? Just don't look at the news anymore, because when you read the news, it tends to be negative, whether that's politics, some new health scare, all those things that just make you worry and put you in a bad mood. However, sometimes there are those odd little happy stories that just put a smile on your face. I saw one the other day actually about a little dog chasing a bear in America as well. It was fearless. The bear ran away and this dog was about a tenth of its size. And I wanted to have a look to see if I could find any fragrance sort of news stories, some bizarre ones, some that are just quite funny, wacky, and just see what's been out there over the years as well. And just share those today. So I found some headlines. I've had a little look. I'm going to read the articles with you as well, and we'll look at some. There's some that are related to animals. There's some related to sort of marketing things by companies, and just some really interesting ones. So I look forward to sharing these with you. I want you to tell me which one's your favourite, and I'll tell you mine at the end. Let's get on with the first ones. We're going to look at the sort of fragrance news articles in relation to animals, and you'll see the headline on the screen. I'm going to read these as well, and of course, if anyone wants the links to these or just wants to have a little look at them in a little bit more detail, please let me know and I can send those over to you. But we're going to start with this one that I found, and this is over a year old, but not that long ago. And it's a dog perfume. So we all like our fragrances, but apparently now there's fragrances for dogs. And this one is from Dolce & Gabbana. So it's a delicate, authentic, charismatic. Dolce & Gabbana launches a $99 dog perfume. Italian brand makes first foray into pet scents, but RSPCA warns against such products as dogs rely on scents and smell. So yeah, this was quite controversial. And actually this scent is on Fragrantica. I had a little look. Bottle's very nice. But essentially what it is so for £99, 84, sorry, $99, £84, owners can have their pets smelling of warm notes of ylang ylang, musk and sandalwood. The luxury dog mist has a 24-carat gold-plated pour on the glass bottle, and customers are offered an exclusive Dolce & Gabbana dog collar with a tag. However, and it wasn't very popular with the RSPCA, because they said that sometimes dogs can be anthro something. Basically, they don't like their sense of smell being taken, and lines can become blurred between what dogs like and what we as humans think they'll like. So essentially, sense that dogs like, and we know this as well, dogs are not going to like the same sort of smells that we've had. I remember when my nan had a dog, and every time I put a fragrance on, because I used to put quite a bit on, sneezed. Wasn't very happy about it, I don't think, as well. And it says here, dogs rely on their sense of smells to communicate and interact with their environment, as well as the people and other animals within it. Therefore, we advise that strong scented products such as perfumes or sprays are avoided, especially as some smells can be really unpleasant for dogs. Whether there's a market for, I don't quite know how you pronounce this, but it's F-E-F-E with an accent on the E. I wonder if it's like Fifi. Named after the dog of the brand's co-founder, Dominic Dolce, remains to be seen. So yeah, I don't know if it's still going, I don't know if it's still popular as well, but there is a dog fragrance and it's very controversial. So yeah, that's the first story I found. Now I've mentioned the next one a few times before, but actually sometimes fragrances are quite popular with big cats. It's not just dogs. So the next headline you're going to see is actually one during the pandemic, or just before the pandemic started, actually 2020, January 2020. And it says Calvin Klein perfume, big hit with Banham Zoo's big cats. And it says, a zoo has appealed for people to donate any unwanted perfume to its big cats. Banham Zoo in Norfolk said the scents were a roaring success. I like the pun there. With their lions, tigers and leopards who respond very positively to unique scents when sprayed in their enclosures. So essentially the zookeepers were spraying Calvin Klein fragrances in the enclosures. The zoo has asked visitors to drop off any perfume when they visit as stocks are running low. Animal manager Mike Williams said for some reason Calvin Klein perfume is a huge hit with the big cats. Keepers say strong scents help enrich the animals' environments, and investigating the smells keeps the big cats mentally and physically active. Something I'm very for as well. I love zoos, but you do sometimes see animals pacing around and they do need something to stimulate their mind. But isn't it interesting how said about dogs don't like those different smells, but they're saying here the cats like them. So is there anything else it says that we should know? It says Easy Tiger, big cats are thought to be attracted to a pheromone in obsession for men, which of course is this fragrance I have here. And I have to say, I love it as well, so I'm not complaining about it. My computer's froze now, so I'm going to have to cut this, and I'll try and read a bit more of the article back. So just to sort of confirm what that pheromone or what that note is, they got the fragrance experts in The expert said the fragrance contains a pheromone called civetone. I believe this is civet. Oh yeah, derived from the scent glands of a cat-like mammal called the civet, which is often used in cologne. During an experiment at New York's Bronx Zoo, jaguars were shown to love the perfume. So this will attract big cats, essentially. I think it's a lovely scent. I really do. So, yeah, very interesting. But that wasn't the only story about tigers liking obsession. So before Ballum Zoo started taking obsession for men as an important thing for their big cats, actually, Calvin Klein, Obsession again in 2018, was used to catch a killer tiger. So the article again in the BBC said, can a world-famous eau de toilette for men known for its smoky and spicy fragrance help trap a man-eating tiger prowling in the jungles of India's western state of Maharashtra? Apologies, I'm butchering the name. Anyway, what happened is there was a tigress, a 6-year-old tigress that is believed to have killed 13 people around this town. I won't pronounce it. She has been evading capture for more than 2 years. And then one of the wildlife officials said, we have been told the cologne can work as a good scent bait for the tigress, so we will spray the perfume on trees and ground and see what happens. And again, it all comes back to that note of civet or civetone. And again, going back to the sort of Bronx Zoo, it says here. So, yeah, it's very interesting how this is being used actually almost for science. I love it. I love this scent. I think it's a really, really nice scent. And I do kind of get that. It's animalic. That's the word. You know, sometimes those fragrances are really animalic, and old school fragrances do tend to be as well. So, yeah, they said they do not intend to kill the tigress. Be interested to know what actually happened with this. I'll see if I can find anything about that as well. But yeah, so there you go. Obsession for Men, a fragrance that I've had many times, has been used to catch killer tigers, and also just be an attractive thing to use in zoos. So if you ever go into certain zoos, take your obsession with you, but just make sure the door isn't open because you don't want a tiger chasing you, do you? Right, on to the next ones. Now, obviously, we know brands, certain companies have sort of touched on fragrances a little bit, even though it's not their thing. So Bentley, obviously, is a car brand. They've done really well with fragrances. You've got clothing brands like Penguin, Zara, Next. They sometimes go into fragrances as well. Well, actually, a long time ago, so this was over 16 years ago, this was actually in 2008, Burger King released a fragrance. So it was a tasty little present for men, Burger King body spray. So it says, still can't think what to get him for Christmas? Socks don't seem to cut it anymore. Fret no longer because Burger King is here to help. So what they were offering was American men were given the chance to smell like their favourite meat snack with the launch of Flame. So it was called Flame, Burger King's contribution to the perfume market. And the company describes Flame as the scent of seduction with a hint of flame-broiled meat. So essentially you smell like a Whopper. So yeah, it says Burger King, or the King as the company's website refers to it, is not the only celebrity fragrance on the market this Christmas. But yeah, apparently it was really quite popular at the time. Yeah, apparently it had a smell of scented candles and chips. It's a bit interesting. Now, I did do a little bit more research into this after I saw this headline. About 2015, they did an April Fool's. I think they were talking about bringing it back, and it was a joke. It was for one day only, and obviously April Fool's. But I did find it on eBay. Someone's selling it, the actual one from 2008, for over £200. So, yeah, it's not quite as cheap as it used to be. I think it was about £5 at the time, or £2.65, but we know what inflation's like anyway. But again, other brands have gone into their own fragrances as well. So I managed to find another one. Here's another brand that touched on fragrances for a very short time. 2023. So from New Balance, this was 2023. They did New Balance's brand new fragrance smells like brand new sneakers or brand new trainers. So this is one for me who obviously likes his running and stuff. Wake up, the Shoe de Toilette has just dropped. So New Balance just took the wraps off one of its biggest drops of the year, and before you ask what sneaker it is, it's actually a fragrance known as the Distilled series. It is available in 2 scents, including Original and Court. So yeah, so this one just smelled like what you'd think, a pair of brand new trainers. I've had some fragrances that are a little bit like that, to be honest, but it's got loads of leather, suede, rubber, cotton socks, and of course freshly mowed grass. So I can imagine that's a bit of a green leather fragrance. It'd be interesting. See if I can find it at some point as well. But Yeah, this isn't the first time that a sportswear company has unveiled their own fragrance line. In the past, Adidas and Nike have launched their own ones. Never seen Nike. Obviously, we mentioned Adidas the other day. We know they still do them, very much gym sense. But yeah, the New Balance Distilled series is set to drop on December 19th, and it will be exclusively available for the first 100 customers at the brand New Balance Grey store in Sydney, Australia. Won't travel that far for it, but yeah, there you go. So New Balance basically made a fragrance that smelled like brand new shoes. What do you think of that? That's very interesting. I find there's certain smells that obviously we like. So I love the smell of bacon, for example, or meat cooking steak. You wouldn't want to wear it though, would you? And I think maybe in that case, again, they're just trying to be a bit clever, a bit quirky. I think it works as a gimmick for a period of time and then it probably wears off. So yeah, I'm going to have a look at some point, see if they're still doing it. But yeah, let's get on to the next one. This one's a little bit grim, I have to admit. I liked the headline for this one, Eau de Toilet. So not Eau de Toilette, Eau de Toilet. Scots Uni reveals shocking new perfume with disgusting ingredient. Now, I learnt a new word yesterday looking at this. So uni boffins have created a stink by turning fatbergs. Anyone know what a fatberg is? Well, I'm going to tell you now. It's basically fat and grease, and basically what people have put down their sink or toilet that they shouldn't have done. And that could be things like wet wipes or whatever. And what happens is it clogs up the drain. So they call that sort of like mush of fat and grease as fatbergs, like icebergs, but basically a load of fat. So a little bit like that, if you can see it in the picture. So what's happened is this very clever person, Professor Stephen Wallace, they created an ingenious way of turning disgusting into delightful with sweet-smelling pine perfumes. So, not many people realise that the everyday products they currently use are made from oil. Both oil and fatbergs are made from carbon-based chemicals. So all we're doing is making their cosmetics from another source and cleaning up the environment at the same time. So what they've basically done, judging by this, yeah, the massive sewer blockages caused by non-biodegradable waste like wet wipes congealing fats and oils usually give off disgusting stench. And yeah, essentially they've turned these oils and stuff from these fats into a fragrance and added like pine notes or something. So yeah, very interesting. I don't quite know how it works. Obviously, these people are a lot more intelligent than me, but yeah. So instead of using sugar to make alcohol, we're using fatbergs to make perfumes. I'm all for it. Honestly, I don't mind that sort of thing as well. If science, can be used with fragrances in that way and it can be used to sort of clear up our environment, go for it. But yeah, I really liked that. Let's see what's next. Now, this is the most recent article of fragrances I could find, and actually, I think it's really interesting. I have a lot of sort of Arabic, Middle Eastern fragrances as well, and you can smell, if anyone's owned those sort of fragrances, you can tell they have a different vibe to them. You just can tell they don't smell like a Western fragrance, and cultures do matter, and cultures are very different. I believe this might have been a Instagram or TikTok video, but anyway, it says perfume is equal to harassment. Indian woman shares surprising cultural shock in Japan. So a woman from, I don't know how you pronounce that, so sorry, currently residing in Japan expressed her surprise that wearing strong perfume could be seen as harassment. So an Indian woman living in Japan has shared her eye-opening experience of how strong perfume could be seen offensive in the country. What she considered a mild fragrance back home was considered strong by a colleague in Japan. So yeah, apparently they don't like in Japan. I don't know if this is true, but they think that sort of strong fragrances in public spaces can be considered inconsiderate, and linked to a term called sumara, which means smell harassment. So basically, it's like a violation to your nose. I'd be in trouble then with all my strong fragrances, wouldn't I? She said, I don't see it as criticism, but as a cultural learning experience. Back home, perfume is about self-expression, but in Japan, it's more about respecting shared spaces. And I do think that's very true at times as well. Look, I'm someone who likes a strong fragrance, but I've said this before, certain scents aren't suited to office environments. They can just be too strong, too cloying. So obviously, wear what you want if you like it, but just sometimes be aware, don't overspray things, just one or two sometimes. And yeah, just be considerate. I think we know that in all walks of life. So yeah, we'll go on to the next one. We're talking politics a little bit now, but yeah, it is fragrance related at least. Obviously, Elon Musk is in the news quite a lot of the time. Here he is. Very zoomed in picture here. I don't think I've got my sort of website sort of in the right zooming calibration. But anyway, what is Elon Musk's relationship to a fragrance? Well, in 2022, Elon Musk is now selling a perfume that smells like burning hair. This is actually true. I've seen it on Fragrantica. As you can imagine, it doesn't get good reviews. It gets 1.8 out of 5. But anyway, Elon Musk's latest internet jest has taken the form of perfume with an unsavoury scent burnt hair. And it is literally meant to smell like that, apparently. He first joked that the perfume would have the tantalising aroma of burnt hair, but now the Boring Company, a Musk venture that started as a Twitter joke about traffic, appears to be actually selling the perfume. The product is the successor to other Musk memes like the $500 flamethrowers he sold in 2018. Because the fragrances won't ship until January, there aren't any reviews yet. There are now. But the project actually does smell like leaning over a candle at the dinner table without all the hard work. In the meantime, Musk appears to be enjoying the media attention on his newest rank. He switched his Twitter bio to perfume salesman. I don't remember this, and claims to have sold 20,000 bottles. Um, so yeah, I think some people would buy this just again out of intrigue. I don't think I would. It's a waste of money. I think if you know what you like, and I mean, I say that I've bought gimmicky bottles and stuff, but yeah, I'd be interested to know if anyone has tried this. Anyone in America who watches these, and just let me know. First of all, how does it smell? You can seem to buy it still online, and yeah, does it really smell like burnt hair? What does burnt hair smell like? Anyway, strange one. Still going on to American politics though, because a very important person, a very rich person, of course, there, and a very famous, well-known person, also has dabbled in perfumes. Okay, then, so we're now on to ABC News. Trump's latest business venture, a fragrance he says is all about winning. This came out again this year in July 2025. Well, let's be honest, Trump's a very, very Marmite figure. Victory 45 to 47, which I assume was the president he was. I think Joe Biden was 46, wasn't he? But they're all about winning, strength, and success, Trump wrote on social media on Monday evening. Why did I never see these on X and Twitter and stuff? I'm sure I'm on there a lot of times. Trump earlier promoted a Fight, Fight, Fight fragrance collection launched in December that cost $199. Last year, apparently, so in 2024, Trump made $2.5 million from sneakers and fragrances. So it doesn't matter if they're any good then, does it? You can just do that and yeah, you'll be rich. Wow. We need a Harry fragrance, don't we? Not quite famous enough yet, but I'd take the 2.5 million if anyone did want to buy it. So I've got a couple more now to finish up. We're now going back off politics, but we're now going to maybe some future trends of fragrances. Maybe this is the future for testing fragrances. No more tester strips. What is there around in other parts of the world? Actually, a lot of these articles are from 2025. I can't believe it. Scratch and sniff billboards are all over New York City. Ever wondered how they work? So I did a bit of research into this. Selena Gomez, I believe, had a fragrance that essentially has these big billboards. And what you do, you may not be able to see the picture here, but obviously if you want to find the article, please do. You scratch and sniff the pits. So what's happening here, there's some squares of things. Essentially what they're doing is they're scratching it and then just smelling the billboard. So yeah, back in April, the media jumped on the story, even for a city like New York, seemed too outrageous to be real, and yet it's perhaps too real. To promote its new cocoa vanilla scent, women's body care brand Billy rented out a huge billboard that invited passers-by to scratch and sniff the pit. There were, in fact, a variety of female underarms on offer. And yeah, so basically some of them smelled like whipped buttercream and cherry pie. And there you go, a debut fragrance from Selena Gomez's Rare Beauty was introduced in August, and they did that. They made it smell like that. So yeah, be very interested. Again, anyone in America, if you've actually seen one of these, if maybe there'll be something in London in the future, who knows? But you can now scratch and sniff billboards as you walk by. I think some people said that it doesn't really give off a strong scent after you've used it a couple of times, but yeah, maybe that is the future. I quite like the idea of not having paper and throwing paper on the floor and tester strips. So yeah, I don't know what I think of that, but I do like the next one that's coming up. Okay, so a bit of a disclaimer here. I can't read Spanish, but Google Translate's not working, and it did work yesterday, so I know what it does kind of talk about. Anyway, in Ibiza, they have vending machines that dispense fragrances. This is apparently what's the case anyway. Someone, I think, posted it on social media, and basically what you did is you tapped your card, as you can kind of see from the picture here, and you choose your fragrance. I believe one of them that was there was Tom Ford Lost Cherry. So basically, if you need a bit of a top up through the day, say you haven't got a fragrance on you, obviously I take them in my bag, but you can go to a vending machine and actually top up on a fragrance. I love that idea. What a brilliant idea. Can you imagine just walking by, contactless, tap your card, and then you get this lovely scent. Just a way to make yourself feel more confident if you're going into an interview or you're going to meet someone for lunch on like a date or something. And yeah, I think one of the ones, as I said, they had was Tom Ford Lost Cherry. Only thing I think people said it's like a micro spray, so it's not like loads of sprays. I think it's very minimal, and you're paying like $3-4. So yeah, very interesting. But I think that could catch on. I really like that. So I thought that was a good one to finish on. A vending machine that actually sprays a fragrance that you can use. I'm all for it. I really am. I wish I came up with something that good. I could have been rich by now. But yeah, they were all the articles I found. So I'm going to reveal my favourite one, and then hopefully you'll comment below about yours too. But that is it for today. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. There's plenty of articles about fragrances as well, and I was really intrigued reading them last night. It's amazing how important fragrances can be, or how significant they can be in certain walks of life, whether that's for science, whether that's for marketing for some of the most rich people in the world. It's a big, big business, and it's even being used, as I said, to reduce the sort of fatbergs that people have got from dumping biodegradable wipes and stuff. And yeah, I still think we're only just touching the surface on fragrance industry. I think it's just going to evolve and evolve in the future, and be very interesting for those of us that like fragrances to see how it goes. My favourite articles, though, have got to be the Tiger ones, mainly because obviously I've got this fragrance, and just the thought that this is something I really like, and it can lure something in that's a big cat. Even if dogs don't like the smells of fragrances, apparently big cats do. And yeah, that is a great fragrance. I need to do a proper review of that one at some point. Maybe this will be my next fitness fragrance review. In fact, I think it will be. We'll do that one next week. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this one today. Slightly different video. So yeah, very interested to know which one was your favourite article. Plenty of interesting ones there. Let me know if you found any in the past. So any videos about, or not videos, any articles or whatever you found about fragrances that you would share with me. I'd find that interesting as well. I want to try and look at some of the other science studies that have been done on fragrance in the past, because ultimately the sense that they put in these sort of fragrances, whether it's a modern one or an old school one, have all been shaped by research, haven't it? So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what's out there. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and yeah, I'll catch you later.